This is Texans TV.
Texans 360 is presented by BMW, the official luxury car of the Houston Texans. By TDECU, the official credit union of the Houston Texans. And by Caesars Rewards, for every way you play.
We are ready to rock in Houston. Rock and roll.
Another day, another dollar.
Touchdown, Texans! He's in. Rock and roll.
That's when you think you've seen it all. There's always something else.
Let's go home. Let's go home.
Welcome into Texans 360, everybody. It's week 2. We're so glad you're back. We're back in the studio again for another great episode of 360. We're going to bring you some of our very, very best from week 1. We catch up with players like O.J. Howard, tight end, signs with the Texans, scores 2 touchdowns in his debut for Houston. What is he all about? Also, how about Jerry Hughes in his debut for the Texans? Lit up the stat sheet. And Kamu Grugier-Hill, linebacker that was here last year, now leads the NFL in tackles. We're going to hear from all of them. We're going to hear from the head coach and more. But first, Nico Collins in year 2. We had him mic'd up for week 1. Here's what he had to say under the helmet.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Whoa, whoa, hey. Oh, it's game day.
NRG Stadium for Liberty White kickoff. The Houston Texans take on the Indianapolis Colts to begin the 2022 campaign.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, hey, nah. It's about that time. It's about that time. Oh, yeah, hey. I'm mic'd up today, y'all. I'm mic'd up today.
And the Texans, clad in Liberty White, make their way out of the field for the opening kickoff.
Yeah! Let's go! Yeah, boy! Let's rock! Let's rock! Let's rock, fellas! All right, let's get it. Let's get it. You already know. You already know, boy. 2 times. You already know. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. Let's rock, boy. Let's rock. Woo! Hey! Hey! Let's rock, boy. Let's rock. Hey! Let's have a day. Let's have a day, coach. Let's get it. Uh-huh. Go, Lee. Go. Have a day, boy.
Have a day. Have a day. Let's go. Here we go.
Hello. Damn. But that first quarter went quick.
We want to see your grill, Toro.
What it do, baby? It's the Iceman power wow. When I say I got my mouth like something like a crystal ball.
4th and goal at the 2. Hines takes the snap, and he's going to be ripped down by Jonathan Grenard. The Texans turn back Indy.
Yeah! Let's stop.
Mills takes the snap, sets up the screen. Chris Moore gets away from the tackler, 45 and down inside the 41-yard line. First down, Houston. Taylor fakes the give. Here's pressure, and here's a pick as Ryan throws it to his right. Texans have it at the 42-yard line. Jerry Hughes, welcome home.
Come on, man, let's go, oh.
Davis takes the snap on first down, looking, throwing to the end zone. He's got O.J. Howard. He's got a touchdown.
Let's go! Let's go! Yeah, boy!
Ryan back to pass. He's going to go down. The ball is out. Jerry Hughes with the sack.
Yeah! Oh, get that rock! Get that rock!
He's got time. He throws downfield. And he's got Nico Collins at the 43-yard line. Mills looks it over. He's going to throw it. Downfield he goes. Got a man. O.J. Howard again. Touchdown, Houston.
That boy got two! That boy got two! Yeah! Yeah!
game is over. It's a tie. The Texans and the Colts on opening day of the 2022 season, 20-20.
Love seeing our players mic'd up. You're going to see plenty of those throughout the season. And you're going to see plenty more of Nico Collins. Davis Mills says he wants to see his second-year receiver more involved in the offense. Music to your fantasy football ears. Am I hearing you? Yes, I am hearing you. Nico Collins out there. Just my little tip here as we head into week 2. Some more tips from the head coach. How about that? He liked what he saw in week 1. He wants to build on it for week 2 as the Texans head to Denver. Our very own Mark Vandermeer and John Harris had a chance to catch up with the Texans head coach.
Joining us right now in the Hyundai Texans radio studio, it's the head coach of the Houston Texans, Lovie Smith. And Coach, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
No, it's a busy week for you getting ready for the Denver Broncos. And let's wrap up the Colts game. You've been asked a lot about the 4th and 3 and the punt and everything. My feeling at the time was, hey, get something positive out of the day at that point. It was a virtual sure thing to do that. And it seems like that's the way you felt as well.
There's a lot of football left to go. And as it turned out, we went into the game wanting to be in first place in AFC South. And right now, that's where we are. We had our chances, looking at 3rd and 1, couple downs to pick it up, 4th and 3. Then you get in a situation where you say, okay, not an ideal world. What's the best scenario for us right now? I felt like putting ourselves in position to not get the loss in that moment. It's not an ideal situation, but something we can still build on.
Coach, what's it going to take to run the ball the way you want to do it? At times it was there yesterday, but you said after the game you want to see more on the ground.
But when you say a commitment to the run, I'm talking when people say that, when I say that, it's not going to always be pretty. There's going to be some days and some plays where it doesn't look good. But you keep the commitment, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to give the ball to Damon more. I will say that. Give it to him more. And some of those same plays that maybe don't work right now, they'll work a little bit later on.
That O.J. Howard character is a pretty tough little guy. I mean, big guy. You get him for all of about 10 days, Coach, and he comes in there and he catches 2 touchdowns. A, did you see that coming? And B, what can he mean for this offense going forward?
Well, did we see it coming? You hope that that's the case. If you just look at OJ's history, he's a perfect specimen for the tight end position. He can run, he can catch. So we thought that would be a great addition to our roster.
Coach, one thing I said during the broadcast, they get the field goal to go up 3-0. They're driving again. And you think, okay, worst case, they kick a short field goal, it's 6-0. But then John gets the stop. You guys get out of there, and then you kind of turn it going the other direction.
Yes.
I feel like John's tackle right there on the 5 kind of got everything going in the right direction. Is that the way that you saw it? And how big was the play for you for that?
It was big. As you mentioned, John, we talk about starting fast and, of course, finishing strong. But those were the 2 quarters where we really didn't.
Right.
You mentioned the 2nd and 3rd quarter where we played our best ball. But there were plays made throughout. Jonathan Grenard's big play down there, of course, in the red zone. It's another thing, we played pretty good red zone defense too. So there are some positives to pull from, but playing a 60 or, of course, 70-minute game, that's the next goal that we need to get accomplished.
What is the feeling like after a performance like that? Because you didn't lose, but you didn't get the W either. What are the emotions?
It doesn't matter really whether you win, lose, or tie. It's the same thing. You evaluate the video. You figure out corrections you need to make, changes you need to make going forward, and you move on, and that's where we are.
And, Coach, you have guys that may not be rookies by the actual definition of it, but guys that have not started a lot. A guy like Jonathan Owens playing safety, and obviously he's playing next to a guy that's never played an NFL game, and Jalen Petrie. How did you look at the way those 2 young guys played together?
Those guys have taken every rep in practice. They show up. They're students of the game. They do it all the right way. And any mistake that they made yesterday, I really feel they'll clean it up, this coming week. That's what I'm excited about. They're talented, and we'll have opportunities. You go from big challenge to an even bigger challenge that we're going to face this coming week.
Excellent. Coach, thanks a lot for joining us. Good luck this week.
Anytime.
Coming up, 2 TD, O.J. Howard. He's next on Texans 360. Welcome back to the Ford Studio. Texans 360 rolls on, and I love catching up with players every single week for my Deep Slant. This week, I had to chat with O.J. Howard, new tight end for the Houston Texans, signed on September 2, had his first week of practice, had his first game, caught 2 touchdown passes. Cannot wait to see what his stats look like at the end of the year if he continues on this rate. But O.J. Howard, he's a vet. He's been in the league for 5 years, bounced around, went to Tampa Bay, went to Buffalo. Here he is in Houston, and we got a chance to get to know the newest tight end a little bit better. It's the Deep Slant 101 presented by Xfinity. Joining me today, tight end O.J. Howard. 2 catches, 2 touchdowns. All he does is catch touchdowns. Welcome in. I mean, we've met in the locker room. We've met after games, but officially welcome to the Houston Texans. What have the first 2 weeks been like for you?
It's been good. My coach has been doing a great job of getting me in, trying to get me acclimated to the offense, to allow me to play fast like on Sundays. So it's been good so far. Kind of hectic at times because, I'm just moving, trying to, get settled in the city in general, but it's been good.
All right, so first game with the Texans, you scored 2 touchdowns. You were just the 3rd tight end in NFL history who scored 2 touchdowns in their first game with a team. So you're part of NFL history. You've also had some pretty historic games. Tom Brady as a Buccaneer, his first touchdown was also to you.
Yeah.
What was that moment like when Tom Brady comes in and you're the first guy that catches a pass from in the end zone?
That was cool. It was awesome. The funny thing about it is when he first got to training camp, I caught the first touchdown pass.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so, and then it just happened to work out that way in the game. So it was kind of cool that it happened that way, but that was awesome. I got a chance to keep the ball, so I still got it framed, got it framed at home, so that was pretty cool.
As a tight end, we see a lot of guys switch to tight ends in their career, but you've always been a true tight end. You were a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, first-round draft pick coming out of college. When did you decide that tight end was a position you were going to play, and was there ever any other position that interested you?
Yeah. So really, when I started playing tight end was like 11th grade when I kind of tapped into it a little bit. But senior year was when I really fully went to tight end. Even in Alabama, I was getting recruited as a linebacker, outside linebacker at first. And then they were like, okay, this kid can play tight end. Let's offer him as a tight end. So, it was my senior year when I finally dialed in and played tight end fully the whole football season. Other than that, my high school, I played all around, running back, quarterback a little bit. So senior year.
All right, so you have a national championship with Alabama. You have a Super Bowl ring. I mean, that's very rare, I think, for a football player to have both of those things. So if you had to rank your best sports memory, what would it be?
I would say, the national championship because of the work that I put in with those guys, and we all came in as a class and as freshmen, and we all got to come from boys to young men as we got older because we won it our junior year. And we're going to be the last class to not win one because Nick Saban, every class has won a ring with him.
Okay.
He's recruited. And it came down to our last year to do it before guys entered the draft. So that was our last chance, and guys buckled up and made it happen, and we kept it going. Like I say, college is a lot, a lot more connected, I think. But nothing takes away from the Super Bowl, but that college one is something that, we always will remember for sure.
This offseason, you signed with Buffalo. Mm-hmm. You're with Buffalo throughout the whole offseason, throughout camp. Yep. They release you, and then you sign with the Texans, as we know, right after training camp ended. So what were the emotions like going through something like that? You've been with the same team for 5 years, and now you switched 2 teams in the offseason. What's going through your head when all this is going on?
It was kind of hectic a little bit for, people, that were outside a little bit, but I knew that I was getting great looks. You know what I mean? If it didn't work out like it didn't, I knew if I had made another stop and found a home that I was going to be ready to play. And that's what happened kind of here.
All right. Well, I think my word for you has to be well-connected. You have connections everywhere throughout the league. And we love to see the connections that you make with Davis Mills. Can't wait to see more of them throughout the season. OJ, thank you so much for the time.
So nice.
Thank you. Coming up, Kamu Grugier-Hill looks ahead to week 2. That's next on Texans 360.
Drew's Dozen Time. It's presented by Mustang Cat. Drew Doherty with linebacker Kamu Grugier-Hill. You're a beach guy. You go to the beach a lot. What's a typical day at the beach like for you?
For me, it's a whole day affair, right? We got all my friends, my whole family comes out. We're grilling, we're at the beach, we're playing spike ball, we're surfing, snorkeling. My family's the type that we're there from sunrise to sunset. So it's a whole day thing.
There's stuff that you can't do in the States that you get to do in Hawaii. What is that?
I mean, surfing, probably one of them.
Yeah.
I think the culture is just way different. Right?
You go home. Is there one dish like, hey mom, can we please make sure we're eating this, or does she just already know and she has it prepared?
It's a good cook, but like she knows like my favorites is like Korean barbecue, right? Korean barbecue chicken, kimchi, all that kind of stuff. So she kills it with that.
Well, Kamu Grugier-Hill, this is always fun to talk with you. Best of luck the rest of the season. Thanks so much for doing a Drew's Dozen.
Awesome, man. Thank you for having me.
Texans 360 continues. We catch up with more of our players. Kamu Grugier-Hill, 18 tackles in week 1, leads the NFL, led the Texans, broke a Texans record for most tackles in a week 1 performance, and he had 22 tackles last year against the Colts too. Just a tackling machine. So what does he expect for week 2? Our very own Drew Doherty had a chance to catch up with Kamu.
We've got linebacker Kamu Grugier-Hill with us. It's good to see you, Kamu. And after an 18 tackle day, we got to start there. Are you a little bit sorer than normal? How do you feel physically after that happens? Because that's what you had, 18 tackles against the Colts.
Yeah, I think it was more, in preseason you get 19, 20 plays maybe, and then to go to 92 plays on the first one in an overtime game. Division game too. I mean, we're feeling it for sure, but we're bouncing back. We're doing the things we need to do. Get ready for this week.
Yeah, you say bouncing back. Ties, not fun. Nobody loves a tie. I know you guys always want to win, but Lovie Smith said it. Many others have said it. I think you probably even said it. There were positives to build on from that game. What were some of those positives? What are you taking into week 2, those positives?
I think, just getting into a good start, right? We were up 20-3. I think we were playing some good defense. I think we were playing some good offense for a majority of the game. I think the things we got built off of is just finishing now, right?
Yeah.
You get into those times. It's times where you need to step on the gas, right? And you can't let a team come back like that. Building off those points of the game and just being able to finish games.
Yeah, I think anybody that's watched this team in training camp, in the preseason, watched last year's team, this is a better team. How is the defense better in that regard? And after what you've seen in week 1, how is the defense better?
I think just everyone's a little more comfortable, right? I've said that multiple times. I think guys know where they're going. Guys are more bought in. Guys know where, the weaknesses and the strengths of every defense and the calls and all that stuff. So, just being able to grow on that too is going to be another step we need to hit.
Yeah. Okay, looking ahead to the Broncos. This is a rugged ground attack. Last week was a rugged ground attack, but the Broncos, that's a tough, salty group on the ground. What's the challenge there? Offensive line, the backs in the run game for you?
I think the backs run hard. The big offensive line. They're like maulers across the board. I think in football, just 101 is stop the run. And manage the big plays.
No doubt. Okay, I looked it up, and with the Eagles, with the Dolphins, now with the Texans, as a whole, you've played against a Russell Wilson quarterbacked offense 5 times. What's the challenge with this guy as a quarterback? Because it doesn't matter who he's playing for. He's a good one.
With him, the play's never over, right? You can, like I said this the other day, is when you're playing pocket passers and things are sometimes on a timing, right? You can kind of know when the play's about to be over or when he needs to get the ball out. With Russ, the play's never over, and you got to play whistle to whistle. You got to pass it to your guys and just you got to cover everything. All
right, Kamu Grugier-Hill and the Texans. Best of luck to you, my friend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Coming up, Jerry Hughes sat down with the Texans Players Show. That's next on Texans 360. Texans 360 is presented by Comcast, by Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. And by Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Houston Texans. It's our final segment of Texans 360, and what a way to cap off the show, but with a visit with Jerry Hughes, who just lit up the stat sheet in week 1. 2 sacks, an interception, a forced fumble, made so many big plays on the field. He has been in the league so many years, but you know what? He started off right here in Texas, Sugar Land native, went to TCU. He's back home where he feels like he belongs, where we think he belongs. We had a chance to catch up with him on the Texans Players Show this week.
Joining us now, the Texans Players Show, Jerry Hughes, Houston Texan and Houstonian from the land of sugar. Jerry, how's it going?
Doing great, man. How you guys doing this morning?
Doing really well. Well, it's...
We're not sure, Jerry. That's a great question.
Yeah,
How
true.
do you feel after a tie?
I mean,
I'm gonna be honest with you, it was a weird feeling. It was kind of real eerie in the locker room in the sense that we weren't upset because we didn't lose. We weren't happy because we didn't win, but we know, and we all felt like we could have played better.
I was in the locker room after the game. It felt like a loss, maybe because of the way that y'all were leading for the first 3 quarters, and you knew the game was in hand. But then, today, Mark and I were talking. We were like, we have to remind ourselves, it was not a loss. There were a lot of positives to be taken from it. I mean, the game that you had, first of all, what fountain of youth are you drinking from?
Oh, man,
playing at the speed that you're playing with.
It must be the weather, the heat must just work really well with my body, I don't know what just came over me that day, the stadium was just rocking, our fans were just electric, so I don't know, probably just a combination of just all of that, really.
You're from Houston, and you went up to Fort Worth to play at TCU. What was that experience like for you?
Playing up in Fort Worth, aka Funky Town, it was fun. It was it was great. They like
never heard that.
Right, yeah, no, they like their football. They love their defensive style. They love defensive play, which is really cool. And I enjoyed it all 4 years.
Jerry, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Jerry Hughes, can't wait to see what he does in week 2. If it's anything like week 1, we're going to be very happy. Just don't end in a tie, okay? All right, so the Texans are heading to Denver. It'll be Russell Wilson's first home game as a Bronco, and that's a 3:25 p.m. kick. Just FYI, just mark your calendars and set your alarm clocks. And if you want to come to another home game for the Houston Texans, week 4 against the Chargers at NRG Stadium, tickets are available at HoustonTexans.com/tickets. That's going to do it for Texans 360. Special thanks to Tyler Marcotte and Jonathan Johnson for working on this show. And to all of you out there watching, stay safe. And as always, go Texans. Thanks for watching, and go Texans. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell for new content.